Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome. So, I've been preaching all these things, but now I want to show you how to introduce these into your lifestyle. So, I'm going on a trip the week after March break, and even though I don't need to, I would like to shed off 10 pounds off of my body for that trip. Just a little challenge, something fun to do. And at the same time, it will allow you, if you're looking to lose 10 pounds, I'm going to show you exactly how you can do that. All right. So that's, I guess, the biggest reason because right now I'm sitting around 175 to 180. And as they say, your leanest body weight isn't always your healthiest body weight. So, what body weight are you comfortable living in? What body weight are you comfortable doing activities, going around and getting stuff done, right? If that's 180 for you, great. If that's 200, great. If that's 220, great. If that's 130, great. It's all about what matters to you and what you feel most comfortable at. So first things first, so you're gonna go ahead, right? You have to plan your week, you have to plan your days, you have to have some sense of direction. All right. So I did this morning. This took me about a half hour, right? My days are pretty similar. So you just focus on doing your Monday to Friday should be very, very similar, as it's very routine like. Your Saturdays and Sundays might differ a bit. So within a half hour, you should be able to set up a plan for yourself. All right. Again, this is my plan. This is a template. It works, but it might not work for you. So how do you set up things around your lifestyle, your priorities, your objectives, your goals? All right. So again, Sunday, this is what I do. These are the times I do it at. Again, this is not exactly the way I do things, but it's more or less, I'd say 90 to 95% of what I will do on those specific days. So first things first, all right, make your weekly plan, right? So every Sunday you sit down. It took me a half hour now. Next Sunday, it might take me 10 minutes because I'm just going to adjust a few things. I might take a few things out or reduce a few things. I might change some times around. I might add things that I didn't think about right now, right? So everything is always up for a change. And again, it all depends on what week is looking like for you and what are your priorities. Okay. So next up, right? So if you want to lose 10 pounds, you need metrics, right? You need things that you are able to measure, data that is concrete and objective, not subjective. Okay. Again, I think there's 8 weeks until March break. So that gives us 10 pounds to lose in 8 weeks. So it's not crazy, but it's also a little aggressive. All right. So to start off, right? So I weighed in this morning at 179.6. So there it is. For today, I'm not going to do my calories, my protein, or anything. I'm going to start that tomorrow on Monday. And then I'm going to tweak my menus as I go. Again, within by the end of the week, you guys should have your menu figured out where you can hit your calories. So for me, it's going to be 1830 to 2030. So if I'm lower than 2030, I am in a deficit. Now, there are different ways to do so, right? I want you guys to think about this as a weekly target and not a daily target. That's just like a financial budget, right? You can allocate more on certain days and then you take some off on certain days. So if you know you're going to the restaurant or hanging out with friends on Friday or Saturday, or maybe it's a Wednesday night for you, whatever that may be, you're going to adjust your calories so that maybe the day of or the day before and the day after you consume a little less than you spend. So 1830 to 2030. Again, my target was 1930. I don't want to be having to exactly hit that every single day. It becomes a non-necessary stress to your body, and it will probably become overwhelming and might cause you to abandon this little challenge. My protein, all right. So I'm gonna start at 1 gram per body weight, which is 180. Normally, when you start a fat loss phase, you want to be at maintenance for at least 2 to 3 weeks. That way, just by changing the foods you are going to consume, is going to make a difference in how you feel, how you look, and how you move. So my carbs, it's 183 grams. My fat, it's 53 grams. All right, so that's not a lot of fat. That's not a lot of fat. So I definitely have to plan for this. And same thing for the protein. You can't just wake up and start eating 180 grams of protein. You have to plan for these. Now, how did I get these numbers? You can go ahead. So if you're a man, you're going to click on here. And then at the top, all right, so you're going to write your age, you're going to write your weight, and you're going to write your height. All right. And then it's going to give you the amount of calories that you burn at rest. All right. So me talking to you driving, you watching TV, you talking to someone. This is the amount of calories that you would lose in a day that you would burn. Now, physical activity, I wrote 1.3, so fairly active. For this, I always like to go a little lower than 2I, especially if we're trying to go in a deficit. If it was the other way around, if I was trying to gain weight, I would probably put this at a 1.5, maybe even 1.7. All right. So whatever you think you're at, go lower. And then, so that's going to give us our the energy that we burn, our calories that we burn at rest times our physical activity level, which gives us 2273 calories per day that we burn. All right. So following up, right, I want to lose weight, so I'm going to go 0.85, which is right here, which gives me my total calories in order to lose weight in a slight deficit at 1930. So if I go back here, 1930, just a second. So this is where I have my 1830, 2030. So I always do plus minus 100 of my target. So again, I can be a bit off and it's not the end of the world, right? I think I had 2200, I'm at 2030. So I'm still in a slight deficit. And once you've put in your numbers, you can just go here and you'll have your targets. Again, these are your daily targets. These are your weekly targets. Start looking at things on a weekly average, a weekly basis, opposed to a daily target to hit. If you're a woman, exact same thing, except you want to use this sheet here that says this sheet is strictly for women. And then you're going to have your daily targets and averages right here. So this is our first thing that we want to do, right? When we're in a deficit, the most important things in order are diet, strength training, cardio, and lastly, they have to be in that order. Highly, highly underrated, all right, are your daily steps, which is right here. Okay, so I'm going to go for 15,000 plus a day. So that means probably a walk in the morning, I do my day, a walk in the afternoon or at night. Again, if I start with that plan and I see that in the evening, I'm not going to have the will or the want to go out for a walk. I'm just going to double down in the morning and do all my steps then. Another very underrated is your sleep when it comes to weight loss. All right, many reasons why. Quickly going into it, right? If you wake up refreshed and more energy, your workouts will be better. Your food choices will be better, and it also allows your body ample of time to recover and come back even stronger. Lastly, weight training. I'll be doing weights. I'll be doing the active adult athletic training, just like you, 5 times a week. And then your body weight for your water intake, you want your body weight divided by 2. So if I take 180 divided by 2, that gives me 90 ounce, so 2.5 liters minimum. So I'm going to go ahead and get 2.5 to 3.5 liters a day. Whenever I do achieve it, all right, I just check mark it. Again, the goal here is to be consistent 80% of the time. I won't get it every single day, but if I can get it 5 days out of the 7 days, I will be making progress. I can guarantee you that. Non-negotiable, all right? So my daily walk, as I said, for my steps, reading before bed. So rather than watching TV, I'm going to read. Only 10 page, right? 10 page every single day, 7 days a week. Gives you 300 pages at the end of the month, which basically means that you read one book a month. Over here, I'm going to go ahead and select 1 to 5, my hunger levels, my fatigue, and my motivation. So say my hunger is low, my fatigue is low, my motivation is high, like anytime you start anything new, fun, and exciting. And again, I'm looking at my weekly average, not my daily target. So my weekly average, if ever this is a 5, this is also a 5, and this is a 1, then there's something here or in our weight training that we are not doing right that we need to modify. All right. Our body doesn't know the difference between our physical, mental, emotional, or spiritual stress. Stress is stress. And the more stress you add on, the more it tries to fight, the more fatigue it becomes, and the more overwhelmed you become. So this is the main dashboard, right? And again, right? So for this, I'm going to go in my weekly schedule, and then I'm going to find, so right here, revise past days nutrition. I have it here, 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 and right here is the past day / week's nutrition. So say I go ahead, I ate 2,400 calories. I had 210 grams of protein. I had 210 grams of carbs, and I had 85 grams of fat, and I only had, let's say, 25 grams of fiber. So looking at this, all right, so for the next day, so tomorrow, okay, I would look at my food that I ate, that I tracked, and then I would say, okay, what was high in protein and carbs that I can take down or I can reduce? What was high in fat that I can reduce? And then from there, maybe the next day I would be at 2,200. I would maybe be at 200. I'd be at 180, and I'd be at 60, right? So I'm getting closer and closer to my target. And that's the way you have to do these things. If you want, you can always use MyFitnessPal. You can use Lose It. There are different apps out there. Carbon Diet Coach is very good, but it is, I believe, $15 a month. But again, you got to use the tools that work for you, that are easy and convenient for you, because if it's too much of an obstacle, if there's too much stress, too much demand behind doing something, yes, you'll be able to do it for the first 1 or 2 weeks, but eventually it will get overwhelmed and you will most likely abandon. The number one factor that determines whether or not you stick with something is adherence. All right. So I always say if you don't see yourself doing something in 6 to 12 months from now, all right, that is simply you reaching too far out. So just scale that back. It can still remain your main goal, but for now you need a smaller goal in order to achieve that main big goal step by step. So moving on. So again, right here, as I said earlier, right, you just do checks marks. That way you can have, this is a global picture of whether what you're doing is working or not. Here's the transformation chart. So this started a while ago. So whenever I started, I was 203. Again, I went down. This was at my lowest, all right, which was 162. Again, this is not a body weight that I would see myself living 365 days a year at. But again, right here, 184, that's a little too much. I like to be around 175. That's where I feel most comfortable. And I can still, it can still be sustainable, and I can still enjoy life every single day. All right. And as you can see here, right? So sometimes I miss my weigh in, sometimes I miss my weigh in. Same thing here, same thing here. But the important thing is that you can't fail if you don't quit. Even here lately, it's been atrocious, but now I'm starting it back up, and these will become more consistent, right? It's okay to fall off the wagon. You just got to dust yourself off and keep going. And if I look at this, right, whenever I fall off the wagon, whenever I restart, I'm way ahead of where I was when I first started, right? So I have more knowledge, I have more experience, I have more wisdom, I have better tools to succeed. So don't ever think that you're starting back from where you first started. Okay, it's a new starting line. You're going for a new finish line, which will eventually become a new starting line. All right, there's always another problem that will arise once you get to one solution. Moving forward, so that's one metric, right? So I'm going to go ahead and keep putting my weight in here. Okay, there's a lot of it. And then after that, measurements, right? So tomorrow I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to measure myself. All right, so there's a picture here. You can do it as well. And again, it's all about chasing sustainability, not speed. I always say if you're not in a hospital bed fighting for your life, then what's the rush, right? The longer you take to make a change happen, the more likely you will be to sustain it long term. And that's the goal. If you're going to put money, energy, time, effort into something, you don't want to just do it for 3 months and then have it go away. You want to slowly build your system that is right for your lifestyle so that you can maintain and keep those changes long term. All right, so every 2 weeks, I'm going to take my measurements. Again, this is great because the scale doesn't always tell you the right thing, but the important thing is to keep in mind that the scale is very good for direct feedback. The scale will never lie for what you've done in the past 3 days. And your measurements, maybe you're 180, but you can look completely different at 180 with lots of muscle compared to lots of fat. And this is where the measurements will be able to identify to show you that you are making great progress. Another metric that I like to use is the picture. So on a weekly basis, at the start, you won't see really any difference. But somewhere around week 8, you are going to see some difference. Same with week 12 to 16. And at week 16, you're definitely going to see a big difference from your week 1. So take your picture, upload it here, right? So click in cell, click on insert, click on image, click on it, right? It gives you all the details. And again, this is every Sunday for me. I didn't do it this morning, so I'll start tomorrow. But every Sunday, I'm going to take a picture first thing in the morning. Same with the scale, all right? Same with the measurement. You want to do that first thing in the morning after using the washroom and always having the same clothing on you. All right. So the more we can stay consistent, the more our results will be credible. So I've just showed you this, how to do calculate all your macros, your calories, and as well as your activity level. And if you're in a deficit, if you want maintenance, if you want a surplus. All right. So this is a great way to start. And then you have to keep everything the same for at least 2 weeks to see if what you're doing is working. You can even go up to 4 weeks, but definitely after 3.5 to 4 weeks, if you haven't seen a difference, then there's something you're doing that needs to change. And if you're doing something and the results are happening and it's on week 9 or 10, you don't need to change anything because what you're doing is working for you, for your body right now. All right. So a lot of times you try and jump on different things every single week. That is not the way to have great progress and sustain it long term. Next up, all right, so 50 grams of protein before 10 a.m. This is especially if your grams of protein are high per day, this is a great way to start off the day on the right foot. And having a high breakfast in protein will allow you to feel full longer and reduce your cravings along the day. Over here, this is our database, right? So whenever we weigh our food, we always want it to be in grams. If ever there's food in here that you don't, that you have that isn't on here, please let me know. I would really like to keep building this list for me, for you, and eventually complete strangers that will help transform their lives for the better. So over here, what you want to do, all right, so over here, what you want to do, you want to build your menu, okay? And here's how I do it. So meal 1, around 4:35. My meal 2 is around 10:30, 11. My meal 3 is around 1:30. Meal 4, 3:34, and so on and so on. So you want to build the menu that is right for you, okay? So for example, this is what I would have in the morning, right? So my breakfast, my meal number 2 is what I would have in the morning. So I could have eggs, I could have peanut butter, egg white, steak, sourdough bread, bacon slice, and so on and so on. Let's say it's Monday, I'm having 2 eggs, I'm having 250 grams of egg whites, and then I'm having an orange, which let's say it's 1 point, so let's say it's 140 gram, and our banana is 140 grams. All right. So this would be my breakfast. So I would have 53 grams of carbs, 10 grams of fat, 41 grams of protein. 443 calories, and then 6.72 for my fibers. Now, if it's the weekend, I might add some bacon in there. I'll take the egg whites away. I'll put four eggs. I might have avocado on a piece of bread, and so on and so on. So slowly start building your menu. Whatever you eat at those specific times in the day, just start adding them, and over time you will have a menu, and it's literally going to take you, as you saw, about 5 seconds to figure everything out. At the end of the day, all right, you're going to go ahead and find your fibers, your calories, your protein, your fats, and your carbs here, to which you will transfer into your global tracker right here. So moving forward after this, okay, and if ever you are buying a bunch of vegetables, what you want to do is you weigh everything and then you divide them by the number of days that you will be eating them. So 517 grams of sweet potatoes, all right, gives me 86.16 grams per day. So I would come here, so my sweet potato, so I would go 86, so 0.86, and then here you have it for my day. Also, what I recommend is maybe adding a tab here where you can write restaurants. And whenever you go to a restaurant, you can plan your meals accordingly, and you can also budget your calories accordingly. Always coming back to this, right? So plus minus 100 calories, plus minus 5 to 10 grams, plus minus 5 to 10 grams, plus minus 5 to 10 grams. Again, go somewhere around that target if you can hit it perfect, but don't lose sleep over it. So you do the same thing for Saturday, for Friday, for Thursday, for Wednesday, Tuesday, and Monday. And then here, you guys can read along these things, but supplements that I have to revise, high performance food. So this is all tips and tricks, tools in order for you to educate yourself, right? Maybe you're hungry before bed. What should you eat? Some simple snacks and time before a workout or in the morning. Okay, so these are all things that you can read and educate yourself on. Of course, we're always looking to add this because it adds a lot of value. But all in all, that is the plan. And through the next 8 weeks, I'm going to post every single day on just exactly how I'm doing it. And if you have any questions, if you want help, if something's not working, don't be shy, just reach out, and it will be my pleasure to help you out. So first things first, what you want to do is plan your week. All right. It's not going to be like this every week. You can tweak things. Second thing you want to do is you want to figure out your age, your weight, your height for your calories, and your macros. After that, you want to start weighing yourself. You want to take your measurements. You want to add your picture here. I believe that is all. And for the first day, for the first week, don't try and change anything about your eating routine. Just keep eating exactly as you are. And then from there, adjust every single day. And hopefully by the end of the week or at the max, okay, by the end of the second week, so February 1st, you are going to have these targets dialed in. And then it's just about making sure you're consistent and hitting those daily targets. And that's it for me. I hope this was very informative. Again, if you have any questions, let me know. I'm more than happy to help you and help you achieve your goals.